It's crazy how long it takes to develop new medicines. I was reading this thing about how AI is speeding things up, and it kind of blew my mind, to be honest. It feels like we're on the verge of like a total healthcare revolution.
Absolutely.
So in this deep dive, we're going to uncover how AI is changing the game in drug discovery. And the thing is, this goes back way further than you might think.
Yeah, it's true. Even back in the 60s and 70s, researchers were already thinking about using computers to make drugs faster.
Wow, they were ahead of their time. But what could they actually do back then with the technology?
Well, they were working on something called CANDY. It stands for Computer-Aided Drug Design. And that involved building these things called QSR models. Basically, imagine teaching a computer to figure out the link between a molecule structure and what it does in the body.
So like teaching a computer to be a chemist and a biologist at the same time?
Exactly.
So they were already training computers to understand how drugs work, even back then.
Yeah. Of course, the computers back then were nothing like what we have today. It's like comparing trying to run a video game on your phone versus on like a massive supercomputer.
Oh, for sure.
But those early researchers, they were laying the foundation for some really amazing stuff.
It's like those old sci-fi movies that predicted things like video calls. They had the right idea, but the tech just wasn't quite there yet. So when did things really start to take off?
Things really sped up in the 80s and 90s when computers got a lot more powerful.
Makes sense.
It was like going from that old flip phone to the latest smartphone.
Yeah.
This meant that scientists could develop much more advanced techniques.
So instead of just analyzing data on paper, they could actually simulate how a drug would behave inside the body.
Exactly. This led to techniques like molecular docking, where they could basically test out millions of compounds at once, virtually, to see which ones would fit onto a target protein, kind of like a key in a lock.
Whoa. So they didn't even have to physically test all those millions of compounds.
Well, that's where another big breakthrough came in. Virtual screening. Using computer models, they could narrow down that huge list of potential drugs to a smaller set, the ones that looked the most promising. This saved a ton of time and resources.
Okay, so they were using computers to find the best potential new drugs. This is fascinating. But we haven't even talked about machine learning yet. When did that enter the picture?
Machine learning really started to take off in the late 90s and early 2000s. And it's become more and more important ever since. Instead of just relying on rules that were programmed in, scientists started training algorithms to learn from huge amounts of data.
Yeah.
And get better at predicting which drugs might work.
So it's like giving the computer a textbook and saying, okay, learn all this and then use it to find new drugs.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And there was just more and more data becoming available, which is exactly what machine learning needs to thrive.
It's like they opened up a whole new world of possibilities, huh? Okay, so we've got computers simulating drug interactions and machine learning algorithms crunching huge data sets. It all sounds so complex. How did researchers even keep up with all these changes?
Well, they had to get creative. They started developing new algorithms specifically for drug discovery. One of these is called a support vector machine. It's like a super-powered pattern recognition tool.
Okay, break that down for me. What kind of patterns are we talking about?
Imagine you're trying to find a drug that can block a certain protein, the one that's making people sick. You could give a support vector machine tons of data about different molecules and whether they can block that protein or not. The algorithm then learns to identify the patterns in the molecular structures, the patterns that predict if a drug is going to work.
So it's like finding a needle in a haystack, but the needle is a life-saving drug and the haystack is a mountain of data.
Exactly. And the amazing thing is that these algorithms, they can often see patterns that humans might miss. They can see connections in the data that our brains just aren't wired to find.
That's incredible. And that brings us to another buzzword we hear all the time, deep learning. How is that different from what we've been talking about?
Think of deep learning as the next level of machine learning. Instead of those simpler algorithms, deep learning uses artificial neural networks. They're actually inspired by how the human brain processes information.
Wait, so are we talking about computers that learn like humans?
Well, in a way, yes. These neural networks can analyze super complex data and find those hidden relationships that other methods might miss.
It's like having a superpowered detective working 24/7 to uncover the secrets of disease and how to treat them.
You got it. And deep learning is really good at image analysis, which is becoming more and more important in drug discovery. For example, It can help analyze those images from microscopes to understand how cells respond to different drugs.
So instead of researchers having to spend hours looking at images, they can have these deep learning algorithms do the hard work.
Right. And that frees up the researchers to focus on the bigger picture, like, understanding what the results mean and designing the next experiments.
This is amazing. We've gone from basic calculations to AI that can analyze images and find patterns we might miss. I'm starting to see how this could really change how we discover and develop new drugs.
It really is. And the most incredible thing is we're just scratching the surface of what's possible with AI in drug discovery.
Okay, you've got me on the edge of my seat. What else can these AI systems do?
One of the most exciting things is something called generative models, AI systems that can actually design new molecules from scratch.
Hold on, you're saying that AI can design drugs that have never existed before?
Exactly. It's like having an AI chemist that can look at all the possible chemical structures and come up with new designs that meet specific needs.
That sounds straight out of a science fiction movie. How does that even work?
Let's say you want to design a drug that targets a specific protein, one that's involved in a disease. You can give a generative model information about that protein structure and what you want the drug to do. And then the AI uses that to make a blueprint for a brand new molecule, one that could potentially work.
So it's like giving the AI a wish list, like go create a drug that does this, this, and this.
Exactly. And the AI, using all its knowledge of chemistry and biology, tries to create something that matches those wishes.
That's incredible. So AI isn't just helping us analyze data and find patterns. It's actually designing new drugs that could potentially change healthcare as we know it.
Absolutely. It's opening up a whole new world of possibilities and giving us hope for treatments that we could only dream of before.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. We've gone from basic calculations to AI designing new molecules and all that in just a few decades. It makes you wonder, where do we go from here?
That's a great question. And honestly, the possibilities are endless. We're on the verge of a whole new era in drug discovery, one where AI could help us find cures for diseases that have been around for centuries.
This is all so fascinating. I feel like we've only just started to explore this topic. What else can we learn about the current state of AI in drug discovery?
There's so much more to uncover. For example, we haven't even talked about how AI is being used to speed up clinical trials and how it's helping us personalize treatments for each individual patient.
Okay, I'm ready for more. Let's dive into those topics and see what else we can learn about how AI is changing the game in drug discovery.
It's amazing to think. We started with scientists, crunching numbers on those old computers. And now we have AI designing brand new molecules.
I know, right? It feels like we're living in the future. But with all these advancements, what does it actually mean for, the average person who needs treatment? Are we getting closer to personalized medicine becoming, the norm?
Oh, we're definitely heading in that direction. Imagine a world where your doctor can prescribe a treatment that's tailored just for you, based on your genes, So it increases the chance that it'll work and reduces the side effects.
That sounds incredible. So AI isn't just about making drugs faster, it's also about making them work better for each patient.
Exactly. But it goes beyond just personalized treatments, too. AI is also changing clinical trials, those trials they do to make sure a drug is safe and effective.
Right. I've always imagined those clinical trials to be super long and complicated. How is AI changing that?
Well, traditionally, clinical trials involve a lot of patients. They test the drug on them and see how they respond. But the thing is, not everyone responds to a drug the same way.
Yeah, of course. Some people might benefit a lot while others don't see any effect or even have bad side effects.
Exactly. And that's where AI comes in. By analyzing tons of patient data, AI can help figure out who's most likely to benefit from a certain drug. This helps researchers recruit the right patients for the trials, and that makes the trials smaller, faster, and cheaper.
So instead of a one-size-fits-all approach, AI is helping us move towards treatments that are tailored to specific groups of patients. That would be huge, especially for people with rare diseases. They often have a really hard time finding treatments that work.
Absolutely. And with AI, we're not just finding the right patients, we're also optimizing the dosage, figuring out the right amount of drug to give, and even predicting potential side effects.
So it's about maximizing the benefits while minimizing the risks for the patients.
Precisely. AI is letting us design smarter, more efficient clinical trials. And that ultimately means getting safe and effective treatments to patients faster.
This is incredible. Faster drug development, personalized treatments, more efficient trials. It really does sound like AI is bringing a whole new era of healthcare. But as we get more and more into this technology, are there any challenges? What are researchers struggling with?
That's a great question. One of the biggest challenges is data quality and accessibility. You see, AI algorithms are only as good as the data they learn from. If the data is incomplete or biased or hard to access, it can mess up the AI's predictions.
Right, like they say, garbage in, garbage out. So how are researchers dealing with this data problem?
Well, there's a big push to create standardized data sets and to develop ways to share data securely and ethically. We're also seeing more and more use of AI to clean up the data and make it more usable for training algorithms.
So it sounds like it takes a lot of collaboration to make sure AI has access to good quality data.
Yeah, it really does.
What other hurdles are out there?
Another big one is just how complex biological systems are. The human body is incredibly intricate, right? It's a network of all these interacting parts. And developing drugs that can target specific pathways within that network safely and effectively, it's not easy.
Yeah, it sounds incredibly challenging. So even with AI, it's still really hard to figure out how the human body works and design drugs that do what we want them to do.
Absolutely. AI can help us analyze all that data and find promising leads. But we still need skilled researchers to interpret the results, design experiments, and make decisions based on their expertise.
So it's a partnership between human intelligence and artificial intelligence.
Exactly. That's how we unlock the full potential of AI in drug discovery. It's not about replacing human researchers. It's about giving them the tools to do even more.
AI is like this powerful tool that can help us achieve things we could only dream of before. But like any powerful tool, we have to be careful how we use it. Are there any concerns about potential downsides of relying so much on AI for drug discovery?
You bring up a really important point. Like with any new technology, we need to be aware of the potential pitfalls and make sure we're developing and using AI responsibly.
What kind of pitfalls are we talking about?
One concern is that we might start relying too much on AI predictions. We have to remember that AI models aren't perfect. They're based on the data they're trained on, and they can make mistakes or miss important details.
So we should see AI predictions as helpful insights, but not necessarily the absolute truth.
Exactly. Researchers need to use their own judgment to evaluate the AI's output. Consider other explanations and design experiments to double-check the findings.
It's a constant process of checks and balances, making sure AI is a tool to enhance our understanding, not replace it.
Right.
Are there other areas where we need to be cautious?
Another important one is the potential for bias in AI algorithms.
Yeah.
If the data used to train an AI model is biased, the model will be biased too. And that can lead to unfair or discriminatory outcomes.
So, for example, if the data used to train an AI model for drug discovery mostly comes from one ethnic group, it might not accurately predict how a drug will work in people from other ethnic groups.
Exactly. We need to make sure the data used to train AI models is diverse and representative of the people who will be using the drugs. Researchers are working hard to develop methods to identify and reduce bias in AI algorithms.
It sounds like there's a real awareness of these ethical issues and a commitment to making sure AI is used responsibly in drug discovery.
Well, absolutely. As AI becomes more and more a part of the drug discovery process, it's essential to have open conversations about these challenges and develop guidelines and regulations that ensure transparency, fairness, and accountability.
That's good to hear. So we've talked about the huge potential of AI in drug discovery, but we've also talked about the importance of using it responsibly and addressing potential problems. With all that in mind, what does the future hold for this field? Where do we go from here?
Well, one thing's for sure. We can expect even more powerful AI tools to be developed as computing power keeps increasing and we understand biological systems better. The possibilities for AI-driven drug discovery are basically limitless.
That's exciting. What specific advancements are you most looking forward to?
One area I'm really excited about is the development of AI systems that can predict the long-term effects of drugs.
Wow, that would be amazing. Right now, clinical trials only last for a certain amount of time, but what if we could use AI to predict how a drug will behave in the body over years or even decades?
Exactly. That would completely change how we evaluate drug safety and effectiveness. We could find drugs that have long-term benefits or risks that wouldn't show up in shorter trials.
That would be a game changer. We could make much better decisions about which drugs to develop and prescribe. What other exciting possibilities are out there?
Another one I'm really interested in is the development of AI systems that can design personalized combinations of drugs. Imagine being able to create a cocktail of drugs that's specifically tailored to an individual's needs. It would maximize the benefits and minimize the side effects.
It would be like having a personal AI pharmacist who creates a custom-made treatment just for you.
Exactly. And as AI keeps evolving, We'll see even more innovative applications in drug discovery, leading to breakthroughs that could transform healthcare as we know it.
I'm totally on board with the AI revolution in healthcare. Before we started this deep dive, I thought AI and drug discovery was something far off in the future. But it's clearly happening now, and it's already making a difference in people's lives. What else can we learn about this fascinating field?
Well, we haven't even talked about how AI is changing how we design clinical trials and how it's helping us develop those personalized treatments for individual patients.
Okay, I'm ready for more. Let's delve deeper into those topics and see what other amazing things we can uncover. So AI is already helping us find hidden potential in existing drugs and even designing completely new molecules. What else is on the horizon for AI in drug discovery? Like, what other breakthroughs can we expect?
Well, one area that's really exciting is personalized cancer vaccines.
Personalized cancer vaccines, that sounds like science fiction.
It might sound futuristic, but it's becoming a reality. You see, traditional cancer treatments like chemo and radiation, they can have a lot of bad side effects because they attack healthy cells along with the cancer cells.
Yeah, I know those treatments can be really tough on the body.
Exactly. But imagine a treatment that's designed to only target the cancer cells in your body. That's the idea behind personalized cancer vaccine.
Okay, I'm definitely interested. So how do these vaccines work? And how does AI fit in?
Basically, these vaccines train your immune system to recognize and attack the cancer cells. It's like giving your immune system a wanted poster with a picture of your specific cancer cells on it.
So instead of attacking everything, the immune system learns to go after just the cancer cells.
Exactly. And this is where AI comes in. Every person's cancer is different, with its own unique mutations and characteristics. AI algorithms can analyze the genes of a person's tumor and figure out the best targets for a personalized vaccine.
So it's like having an AI detective that can find the weak spots of each person's cancer.
Exactly. And this approach could revolutionize cancer treatment, making it more effective and less toxic.
This is amazing. Are these vaccines being used to treat patients yet?
They're still in the early stages, but the results so far are really promising. There are a bunch of clinical trials going on, and we're seeing some good signs that these vaccines can really boost the immune response against cancer.
That's great news. It gives hope to a lot of people. Are there other areas where AI is being used to develop new therapies?
Another exciting area is gene therapy, which aim to actually fix the genetic defects that cause disease. This field has been around for a while, but AI is helping us overcome some of the challenges.
I've heard of gene therapy, but I'm not really sure how it works.
Imagine you have a gene that's not working right and that's causing a certain disease. Gene therapy involves delivering a healthy copy of that gene into your cells. So you're basically replacing the broken gene with a working one.
So it's like fixing a typo in your DNA.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And this approach has the potential to actually cure genetic diseases that were once considered incurable. But the tricky part has been getting those genes into the right cells safely and effectively.
Yeah, I can see how that would be difficult. So how is AI helping with this?
AI is being used to design better ways to deliver the genes for gene therapy. For example, AI algorithms can help figure out the best viruses to use as vectors to carry the healthy genes into the cells.
Viruses. You mean we're using viruses to deliver genes into our bodies?
Yeah. It might sound weird, but some viruses are really good at getting genetic material into cells. Scientists can modify these viruses to take out the harmful parts and engineer them to carry the therapeutic genes.
So we're taking a harmful virus and turning it into a little delivery truck for healthy genes.
Exactly. And AI is playing a big role in designing these viral vectors to make sure they deliver the genes to the right place safely and effectively.
This is incredible. So AI is helping us develop personalized cancer vaccines and paving the way for gene therapies that could cure genetic diseases. It's really amazing to see how AI is revolutionizing medicine.
It really is. And things are moving so fast. As we learn more about biology and AI gets even more powerful, who knows what we'll be able to achieve?
I'm so glad we had this conversation. I used to think AI and drug discovery was something way off in the future, but it's happening now, and it's already making a real difference for people.
It is, and it's only going to get more exciting from here.
This deep dive has been amazing. I feel like I've learned so much. I hope our listeners enjoyed this journey into the world of AI and drug discovery, and that they feel inspired to keep learning about this fascinating topic.
Absolutely. The more we understand about this technology, the better we can shape its future and make sure it benefits everyone.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey.